Free State of Jones is an American historical drama directed by Gary Ross, starring Matthew McConaughey, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, and Mahershala Ali. I'm sorry, I probably butchered those last two names. I'm really sorry, I tried. This film is based on a true story and takes place primarily in the 1860s during the Civil War. Matthew McConaughey plays this guy named Newton Knight who flees the Confederation during the Civil War in order to go back home to Jones County in Mississippi. Because he fled the war, people are on the lookout for him, so he's forced to live in the woods with other refugees and runaway slaves, and they end up forming this rebellion against the Confederation because Newton Knight is opposed to slavery, of course, since he is friends with these runaway slaves, and this rebellion is just really against the Confederation because they're doing a lot of awful things to people, such as stealing crops. Honestly, I went into this film with low expectations because the reviews have been awful, and a lot of reviewers that I really admire have not liked this film. However, I must say, I don't entirely understand the hate. I thought this was a pretty decent film, and there are a lot of problems I had with it, but overall I feel it was a pretty good movie. It definitely had a lot of potential to be amazing, and unfortunately it isn't amazing, but it's certainly not bad either. My two greatest pros about this film are the acting and the story. Every single person in this film delivered an amazing performance, especially by Matthew McConaughey. Man, has he turned himself around as a really serious and excellent actor. Props to Matthew McConaughey. He also really looks a lot like Newton Knight. When they were kind of showing pictures later on right before the credits, I was like, wow, Matthew McConaughey actually kind of looks like him. But aside from just looking like Newton Knight, he did a fantastic job of portraying this really strong, rebellious, and stubborn leader who just did such an excellent job of leading these people. Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Mahershala Ali also did fantastic jobs, and as did Keri and all of these other people who played supporting characters. Everyone was just great. The cast was spot on. Aside from the acting, I also think that the story is really great because it is based on a true story, and it is a great story to be told. However, I think the film really lacked in the storytelling department. I really admired all of the people and the things happening in the story, but the screenplay I just felt was really weak. It was just riddled with speech after speech after speech, and a lot of the dialogue just wasn't that great. There were also several instances of just having pictures and text kind of explaining what was happening. And while that did make the film shorter because it's already a lengthy film, and if they didn't have those text and picture explanations, then the film would have been a lot longer and it definitely would have dragged even more. It did feel a bit lazy. The storytelling aspect of the story just really wasn't very good because a lot of the times I had trouble exactly following what was happening with the story. Maybe I'm just stupid and that made it hard for me to follow the plot, but a lot of the times I was kind of just like, alright, wait, what character is this? What is this character's relationship to this person? Wait, what exactly is going on? What are they planning to do? And a lot of the time, I just wasn't really sure where this movie was going and where the story was going and kind of what was going to happen next. And as a result, the end of this movie kind of felt a little long and I was just kind of waiting for it to end. They would also skip forward into the future during this court case. And at first I was kind of like, alright, well, what is this for and what's happening? And then they would go back to the main storyline and then back to the future. Good movie. And then back again, then not. And for me, it was just kind of hard to understand what was going on with the court case because they'd only go to it occasionally and the main storyline would just kind of make me forget about the case. Because I felt the screenplay was weak, there were a lot of aspects of the story that I felt could have been more compelling, but unfortunately weren't as emotionally engaging as I wanted it to be. There's definitely a lot of heartbreaking parts that happened that, hit me in the heart, but I just felt it wasn't quite enough because sometimes I didn't quite know enough about a character to truly care about them, or maybe I just wasn't really sure what was going on, so then I was kind of like, alright, well, why did that happen? So don't get me wrong, there is some emotional things in this movie, and people were audibly reacting in my theater. it just wasn't captivating enough, and that was disappointing. Another really small nitpick I have is I felt the cinematography could have been a bit better because there was a lot of gorgeous scenery going on with, these woods and whatnot, but I felt the cinematography just wasn't quite on the nail. So while I do have all those problems with the movie that were quite disappointing, I don't think this film quite deserves the hate that it's getting. There is a lot of good, such as with the acting and the story, like I said. It was just that the storytelling wasn't really done very well, and as a result, I wasn't quite as invested with the characters and the plot like I could have been. This movie is definitely not for everyone, and it will bore some people, but I just want to say that I saw this movie with my mom, and she tends to fall asleep a lot during a movie if she's bored or tired, and unfortunately I'll be showing her like one of my favorite movies and she'll fall asleep. But she didn't fall asleep during this movie, so that's really saying a lot. I'm gonna give Free State of Jones a 7 out of 10. And I would say rent it because I do think this is the kind of film that's worth seeing at least once. It's not a kind of movie that I'm going to rewatch, but just because there are problems with it doesn't mean that it's absolute crap and not worth seeing. Thank you guys so much for watching my review. If you enjoyed it, please let me know how you felt about it in the comments below and tell me what you think about the movie because I'm really curious if there are any other people that share the same opinions as me. And if you hated the movie, that's totally fine as well. I'm curious why you hate it, so go ahead and let me know as well in the comments below. That's it for this review, but if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I recently uploaded several new reviews and 2 new vlogs, which I will be putting in the cards right here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.